we want to know how to expand this. So without Pascal's triangle, but just with C here that we've learnt before. So remember, to expand this, all we usually do is we have n, and then we start off with 0 here, and the coefficient just increases by 1 down there until you get to ncn. And we start off with 1 to the power of n, and then x to the power of 0, and then you add 1 and subtract 1. But because you can see here we have 1 to the power of anything always equals to 1. So therefore there's no point writing out 1 in this because it always equals to 1. So we'll just be focusing on x. So you're going to start off here with x to the power of 0, which is equals to 1, and then x to the power of 1, x to the power of 2, so on until x to the power of n. So this here, I just want to show you how we do just expand this using our c, and when we have 1, we don't need to write it. Now, using this expansion, we're going to learn how to find coefficients with this, okay? Now, our first couple of questions is kind of just practice questions. That's going to lead on to questions 3 and 4, which are much more like your exam style questions. So we're going to start off with question 1, and this is just, I want you to practice expanding 1 plus x to the power of 5, right? So this is just some practice. I want you to try expand that. So why don't you give that a go for me now? Okay, so remember, we think about our coefficients first. So because that's 5, and we always start with 0 on the bottom, you have 5c0, 5c1, so on until 5c5. Now, because we have 1 as one of our terms, 1 to the power of anything is always 1, so we don't need to worry about it. So we just need to worry about x. And here is 5c0, x to the power of 0, x to the power of 1, so on until 5c5, x to the power of 5. Yeah? So this is what that is when we expand it. Now, I want you to find the coefficient of x to the power of 3 in 1 plus x to the power of 5, and then 1 plus x, okay? And this is just a method I'm going to teach you. So one of the methods to find the coefficient of x to the power of 3 is by, we know the expansion of this is that whole thing there, all right? So this times this. Now to find the coefficient of x to the power of 3, I just want to find what times 1 will give me x to the power of 3, as well as what times x will give me x to the power of 3, okay? Now, times 1, well, we want x to the power of 3 there, don't we? So that will give me x to the power of 3, as well as what times x is going to give me x to the power of 3? Yeah, exactly. It's going to be this x to the power of 2 here, right? So we have 5c2 x to the power of 2 times x. Now you can see that only the combination of those terms is going to give me x to the power of 3, because when you look at 5c0 times 1, that's not going to give me x to the power of 3. X to the power of 1 times 1, that's not going to give me that as well, right? So none of those other ones is going to give you x to the power of 3 except for the combination of those two. Yeah, can you see what I'm doing here? I'm just considering when this is all expanded out. But rather than expanding it all out and choosing the one that's x to the power of 3, I'm just kind of thinking about it first. So just focusing on those, that means that the only two terms which has x to the power of 3 is going to be this and that, which means the coefficients for x to the power of 3 is just going to be this and that, right? Just those two added together. So therefore the coefficient will just be 5c3 plus 5c2. Put in your calculator and you get 20 as the coefficient, right? So just a little summary here. What I've done is, because I want to find the coefficient of x to the power of 3, we've expanded this and we're multiplying by that. And now we're just considering, when we do expand this multiplication, what times 1 would give me x to the power of 3, so that's x to the power of 3 here, and what times x will give me x to the power 3. So that'll be x to the power 2. And then we just add together their coefficients to give us a total coefficient for x to the power 3. Now, some of you may ask, why am I going to so much effort to work that out when it will be a lot easier to just make it 1 plus x to the power of 6? Yeah? So that's another method, but this is this method that I'm teaching you now because it's practice for the questions that we're going to do later, which comes up really frequently in exams, okay? All right.